Happy Boxing Day, Tamers! I wasn't expecting to do this video today, but I think you guys will enjoy something a bit more visual for a change. I actually have stuff ready. So, we're going to be doing the Imperial deck, the very regular blue deck, right now. So, we're going to do this kind of more like a Yu-Gi-Oh video, I suppose. We're going to play 4 of this beautiful, amazing, jamming rookie right here. Yes, I have decked him out, which was where my camera is. Probably should move that all over a little bit more. There we go. So yeah, you'll play 4 of these. These guys are fantastic. You can play on from your baby, or you just play it straight to the field. Free cost of the field. Following turn, you get jamming. Also, it's a nice target for your opponent to go for if they have to. So this way, they will attack you, and then you will essentially maybe be able to get out your following other better ones for the stack. But yeah, it's a great baby. Having jamming on a rookie is really good. And just for some more fun. Ooh, because, you know, I was talking about Gen Con. Gen Con! So those are our 4 amazing V-Mons. Probably the best blue rookies in the game. Then we're going to play 4 of the All-Force structure deck V-Mons. Well, we don't play All-Force in this deck at all, but the inherited effect is not once per turn. That's if you have 7 or fewer cards, you can draw a card. Obviously, this game only has a main phase, which includes battling as well as evolving and other such things. So being able to just draw cards constantly, especially early game, is really good. 4 of those is not necessarily a given, but you know, definitely well warranted. And we play 4 of the brand new EX1 V-Mons. I know you've probably seen the structure deck episode that I did here, what's in the meta. Thank you for watching if you did. V-Mon, fantastic card. And this is the inherited effect of when this Digimon becomes unsuspended during your main phase, gain a memory. Only once per turn though, but this deck kind of likes to unsuspend itself a lot, so that'll happen. That will happen. But yeah, those have all been necessary for us just to make this deck really good. V1 is such a good card, and this can stay a good card now that we've seen armor evolutions in BT8. You know, we played 2 of these V-Mons, which is the All-Force V-Mon back in from BT2. Now, these aren't necessarily in here because of the best. I will show you the tech option otherwise if you wanted to. These are your once per turn, when this Digimon becomes unsuspended during your main phase, trigger draw 1. Draw power is always good, but since this deck will actually like climb and unsuspend, climb and suspend, it's not necessarily the best card to have. We do have a secondary option for these though, and that's if you are obviously using structure deck stuff, you might as well play these if you wanted to. There's 2 Dracomons instead, and what these guys do is on play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 card with Dramon in its name amongst them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. If you know what this deck has, we have 14 targets for Dre, which isn't particularly amazing, but sometimes you want to feel a bit frisky and risky, if you know what I mean. Next, we'll have our champion lineup, and that's going to be 4 of the beautiful new X V-Mons. Now, this is probably like one of the best cards we're going to get for a while, and I hate the fact that it's a common. So we didn't get a nice rarity bump for it, or we didn't get even an alt art for this card, but nonetheless, it's fantastic. But this card has jamming on itself, and then your turn, while this Digimon has Imperialdramon in its names, or free in its traits, it gains jamming. Which, if you didn't know, is really good for Imperialdramon, because Imperialdramon is also a free Digimon. Same with Dino Beamon. Again, mandatory 4 of, it's a really good card. We play 4 of the lovely Stingmon. A very necessary card in this deck. Not as necessary probably as the XV one, because the X1 was just fantastic on its own, but this card has piercing. And then while this card has a Imperialdramon name, or a free in its traits, it gains piercing. Again, really good, especially because the mainstay for this deck already has jamming. Having piercing as well is pretty good. Again, number 4 of, it's really good in this deck. Actually stops a lot of the issues that Imperialdramon was having earlier. Obviously, it was 1.5, but in the Japanese it would have been BT3. Then we play 2 of these as tech option. You don't have to play these at all if you don't want to, and that is just the V-Mons when Digivolving, unsuspend 1 level 4 or lower Digimon. So you can either unsuspend a rookie or yourself if you've already been suspended, obviously triggering other things, but again, really good card. It's a lot better than people think it is, as you'll see later on. But I wouldn't necessarily play this at 2. Then we play 2 of these. Lomon's a fantastic card. It will win you more games than you think it will, because people don't really think about Lomon being a thing. And also, if you do have a rookie on the field, you play this on top of a Tamer, you swing, you don't die, you get to unsuspend yourself. If you play this on top of a rookie, Swing again. That could be game. That's a lot better than people think it really is, guys. Like, you'll be surprised how often people just sit on like their laurels, not thinking you can do anything about them if you've got like 2 or 3 Tamers on the field. So for those who don't know, it's evolved from a Tamer, as if it's a level 3 Digimon. Yeah, that card is fantastic. It's not broken at all. And luckily, the other Digimon are now available for the other colours as of BT7. Next, we're going to play ourselves a lovely set of coconuts over here. We're going to play some new Imperialdramons. These are pretty good. I'm going to use these to the Dino Beamons in any set. I've never been a fan of Dino Beamon. I know it's kind of a cool Digimon, but it's not for me. When Digivolving, if a Digimon card with 3 inch traits is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, unspend this Digimon. As I was saying before, you know, we get a lot of spending and attacking in this deck, so it's really good. He's actually really good if you can go on top of a Jammer, just because obviously he doesn't have jamming, so it's really good just basically swing with jamming. Then we also have the, if this Digimon has Imperialdramon in its name, it can't be blocked anymore, so you don't need to have the Piercer anymore, so just constant jamming is really good. 4 of these, I think, is the key for this deck. I know some people like to go like 3 of these, and then 4 of the old ones, and then 1 Dino Beamon, because they want to have to search for the green. I understand, but I do really think that 4 of these is like the key to play this deck the way it should be played. Then we have 4 of the old Imperialdramon. I wish this had an alternate art. I think the art on this is really good, but I'd love to have an alternate art just because I think it deserves it, because it's such a good card. Basic effect is jamming, and then on your inherited effect is when attacking must return. If you have Imperialdramon in its name, it can unsuspend itself, which is again fantastic trait. No, again, 4 of, I think both the Imperialdramons are really good at the moment. I think they're the 4 ofs here each, and those are your 8 ultimates. Some people run 9 ultimates, and that's down to you. I don't think 9 is really worth it. I think 8 is the perfect number for ultimates normally, unless you have like a Mega Zoo deck where you want like 10 or 12 just because they're cheap costs. But no, I do think this is where you want to be. I do think those 2 are perfection. You'll have to forgive me over here, guys. This is a bit trashy. 1 alternate art and 3 regular arts. Now, don't get me wrong here, boys. I understand. I've got another one of these on the way, I promise. So I'm going to have a mixed match, but I will hopefully build this up over time. So what this bad boy does here is, when one of your Imperialdramon or Dino Beamons will Digivolve into this card from your hand, reduce the play cost of this by 2. So it becomes a free cost. Because we're only playing Imperialdramons, it's obviously really good because we're always just going to basically be getting that 2 cost reduction. There obviously are Digimon out there now that can stop that from being a thing, but it's if they're played or not. They're not necessarily the most played cards here in the actual meta, so hopefully you actually get around that. It has the base ability of jamming, which is what I said before. It's actually quite okay if Dino Beamon is. It's actually okay if Stingmon is in this. It's really actually quite effective. And then if you have jamming, you can also unsuspend yourself. So if you swung with Imperialdramon, you obviously got jamming, you Digivolve into this, you unsuspend yourself because you also have jamming, you become unsuspended again. Swing for another time, stay alive. Because you have this as your base card, it gets you unsuspend yourself again because you're a Imperialdramon. Unsuspend and then swing again. So yeah, you're gonna, if you have the memory for it, you can swing like 4 or 5 times on 1 turn. It's ridiculous with this deck. A lot of people think this deck is going to be really weird, but it's got like 2 bad matchups in the meta right now, depending on how you feel like what a bad matchup actually would be. But necessarily, security control, it's always bad against security control, because security control is generally just option cards, and you aren't really jamming option cards, ever. And we don't have a delicate plan for blue. Hopefully you never will. I'm going to say that in red, as I think it needs to be there. But and your other one is 3 Musketeers, because again they're very option heavy. Purple's a bit hit and miss, but you're not really too scared of purple as a whole. Then we play 2 of the new Imperialdramons. These will not be getting upgraded to alternate arts because I'm not paying the ridiculous like £30 odd price for those, because they are nice. They're just not nice. But I think this is nice artwork on face. Hey, look, it's right here. Ooh. So here we go with this. This guy here is when Digivolving, if Digimon card with 3 in its traits in the Digimon Digivolution cards, unsuspend this Digimon and suspend 1 of your opponent's Digimon instead. This is one of the reasons why Stingmon's really good. Obviously, you can swing into someone, take them out, get yourself an extra security. Obviously, the jamming would be the issue then, but here, neither or. This will get very good later on. We get Juggerus, which will be coming for us probably like BT8. I do hope they bring it out between those 2 sets, because I would like to mess around with that during like April's period of time, and not have to wait till like June. And then your turn. For each colour in the Digimon's Digivolution cards, you gain 1000 DP. At the moment, you will probably only really be playing like pure blue, so you'll only be getting like the 12k beta as opposed to a 13k beta, but things can obviously get good or bad. But yeah, I think 2 of these is the perfect number right now. When we get maybe to BT, well, ST9, I think is the green and blue one, then maybe you want to change it up a little bit, but I do think for now, that is the perfect ratio. Hot take time. 4 Davises. Now the reason why is this is a searcher for your deck. It searches every single card in your deck, because you do play greens. Not many of them, you do play some greens. And it's also your memory setters. And also you can then play your lovely Lobmons on top of 2 of these, which means that you should always hopefully have access to 1 more memory setter during your gameplay. Now here's the hot take part. Because you are going to be running into a meta where security control is still kind of a thing, and 3 Musketeers are still running around because they're good decks, you generally will see some aggressive play. Now, what you could do is you could trade 2 of those out for 2 analog boys. And the reason why I think this is kind of a good meta choice as opposed to kind of like what people might think is the reason why is because you're in a kind of a series right now where there's lots of option cards. There's lots of decks right now that just want to burn you with option cards. You gotta think of what's currently in the meta. You've got Agubons. Well, they run like 8 forms of removal, I think, in that deck. You've got but you could also pop yourself on the stack, depending on the situation or what card you're using. All those lot jamming in this deck, so maybe not so good for that one. Good old Screw Control has like how many forms of removal right now? I think like 12 for destruction. So this card is fantastic in other situations. Also, Musketeers will also destroy your cards at a level 6 or below. And this is obviously for level 5s and higher. Good card. I don't know if it'll see much play, but it's really good. But again, if you want to play more pure blue and green, then that's how you go about it. Now for option choices. Now we've been very aggressive here. Playing 2 Hammer Sparks just because extra memory is always good. Having it in the security stack will generally help you move over to your play so your opponent maybe just can't finish you off for a turn. Playing 2 Ice Wolves. Again, this is just to slow down your opponent so they can't just beat you down as like a brute. And then you're going to play 2 of the lovely, let's just make this a bit more so you've got some more space on the screen. And then you are playing 2 of the blue memory boosts. 1, you're searching 4 cards, and you're only running 4 greens in this deck anyway, so you're going to hit a blue card like, what, 79% of the time probably? A blue Digimon, that is. And then it's also for memory upkeep. Obviously, if you've got a Davis in the field and you pop one of these, you're only having 5. Maybe you're lucky, you're running a Hammer Spark in there as well, you get 6 on the turn. 6 memory can get you from your champion to your Mega, and still follow through with some hits and some damage. It's a really good deck, it's a really quick deck. It's one of the more aggressive blue decks that isn't essentially just like cheat out level 7s. And then, which we haven't gone over just yet, because for whatever reason I forgot about these guys. Our cute little babies. So, you want to run these 4 anyway, just because you are jamming constantly all the time in this deck. This deck is just a jamming deck. So this thing you'll see is activation generally like 90% of the time, unless you're running like a Stingmon that you have to evolve onto kind of thing, and then you have to go from Stingmon into your jammers away from your piercing. But yeah, these guys are going to be fantastic most of the time. And then for your 5th option, if you think your game's going to go that long, you can generally run Upamon. Upamon's been a fantastic card since it came out. For us, I think it was in 1.0. If you really wanted to, you could run the other Demi Vmon, which will give, well, sorry, you can run one of the other 2 Demi Vmons, which will give you either the extra 1,000 for spending. But yeah, that's kind of it, guys. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you have been here for the first time, and this is something new, you've enjoyed it, well, I'm Get Swiftly. This is Get Swiftly Gaming. You'll either see something from me, my wife, the boys, and whatnot. But happy Boxing Day. Hope you guys are having fun around the world. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace out and goodbye. Remember, Tamers, stay safe, but keep on playing.